Half an hour late, early for the 7:30 show next week.
But they don't know that, though.
No, I know, but we're supposed to go at 6:45 today. Anyway, welcome back. Calling Audible.
Welcome back.
Yes.
Yes. Thank you.
Welcome everyone back to the show. It is now the stretch run for the playoff season, as we are now in the last. Today's Thursday, so we're last 10 more days of FPF football, or 11 more.
I'm
11
bad
more
with
days.
math. 11, because it's Monday.
Yeah, so 11 more days of FPF, and then that's it. We say goodbye to these guys. As we say goodbye to about 60-odd teams in the last week.
Goodbye for a month, because Fall Cup starts September 4th.
That's right, September 14th. We already said goodbye to the 60-odd teams
14th.
who've been bounced.
September 4th.
64?
Yeah, September 4th. The Labor Day, one Monday.
I know, whatever. Okay, September, whatever. After Labor Day, okay? All right, anyway. We say goodbye to 64-odd teams from Sunday, Monday, Wednesday, and of course now we are in live action for Thursday football. But let's recap Division E. E1, E2, playoffs have begun, and what a disaster it is, because our idea of, hey, we'll have the E1 mountain erupt with E2 teams overcoming these teams never came to life here, guys.
Well, some of them did.
Some did, some didn't. But just a general observation here, guys. So, your thoughts on the first wave of E1, E2 playoffs?
So that One Speed Power game, One Speed Power moved up to Division E1, played against Pension Plan. Pension Plan were without Adamo, their quarterback. So I won't whittle too much on it. The one game that really caught my eye was the Bruins against Los Avocados game. Los Avocados did move up into Division E1, which we believed was the right fit. And the game was a very good one, 31-26 for Bruins. Due to the score, I would say it was the right move to move Los Avocados up. They might disagree, saying that we robbed them of a championship.
Mm-hmm.
But that doesn't really matter. It was close competition, and they were in the right seed at the end. Like they were where they should have been all along.
So let me ask Los Avocados, when they do the college football playoff 4, and they have Clemson ranked number 3 playing Alabama, was Clemson robbed because they played Alabama early on? No matter how you look at it, right?
It's a one-touchdown game.
Yeah, it is. And I saw Tom's article quickly, and he's like, look, man, we're one and done. It is what it is. But that's the whole idea, though, right, guys? The idea, and if Peasy was here, he would definitely back this up. We're trying to have the so-called E2 teams test themselves against the better competition, right? And in this case, yeah, it sucks if you're Los Avocados because you work so hard for that regular season record, and it's done within 1 hour.
It could have been one and done, even if they would have stayed in E2.
Yeah,
right?
could have been. You're absolutely right
We don't
about
know.
that.
There's a lot of these E2 teams that moved up that lost, including Savages, who moved up and played the U.
Were they pissed at us or something?
Savages?
Yeah.
Why?
Who's angry at us?
A-side.
A-side, right,
Yeah.
right.
But I think
A-side
overall,
won, so
yeah, they were angry at the rating itself, saying why are we? A-side are on E2, no? Yeah, they were moved down to E2 and then they played Brewers, and they were angry that they should have stayed in E1 ahead of, let's say, One Speed Power and some other teams. As a whole, I think it made for better matchups in the first round. In Division E1, E2 with the switches. I think some teams would have ran the table too easily. Now, the only thing is there's a chance that certain teams that move down from E1 into E2, like Ducks, for instance, might actually run the table from now on. Right? We might get the same outcome from these guys.
Yeah.
So I don't know yet if we've solved the problem. There's only been one round. I'm curious to see how the whole situation will unfold. I'm curious to see afterwards to make Eagle make like some sort of table to say how many teams from E2 that moved up, what was their record total. Same thing for E1 that moved down, what's in record, did they lose? Is the winner coming from E1 and E2, etc., etc.?
Well, here, I got 2 teams that disappointed me. Sandbaggers and Guardians.
Or Grab Rouge.
That's whatever.
Still, so Guardians was a no-show, but they told us beforehand that they couldn't make it.
But If
So
they
at
knew that,
least-
though, why couldn't we have adapted and said, okay, well, let's replace this team with someone that wants to be there?
I guess the problem with that is, do you replace someone at that seed? Does everyone else get bumped up one? If you know that it's
Wherever they're ranked,
logistically
right?
a nightmare, though.
Right. But that's the thing, though, right? And I know, Eagle, we spoke about this at, baseline talk about if a team dips for whatever reason, we know in advance you bring in a team in, and should that be considered in a bigger sample that we have here in this lower division where, chances are you're going to have a team that might dip and not play the playoff game?
So the reason why we don't do that is because you're technically giving advantage for teams telling us in advance that they're not going to make it for the playoffs. Like, what's the cutoff period then? Is it a day before, an hour before, a week before, the moment the schedule comes up? So you can't be like, well, this team told us, and then this team also told us, but you get in and you don't. And plus, the scheduling itself, there's also conflicts for people playing on multiple teams. So then you have to restructure all that and everything. So basically, the criteria to get into the playoffs is, well, first off, you need to qualify. Like, you need to have a seed. You need to not forfeit week 10, which is, again, one of the criteria, which we introduced this year. And then on top of that, you need to have a roster which can be fielded. So if you don't have enough people to staff or, I guess, field a team, though you don't have 5 games played basically for at least 5 players, then you haven't earned a playoff spot basically. So if you have 4 guys with 5 games played, you can't play in the playoffs, and then you lose your seed. Those are the only things that will make you lose your seed in the playoffs. If you get it, and then you tell us, I'm not going to make it, well, it's done.
Yeah, it sucks in those cases, but it's better off than teams who, don't actually show up to the game, and then the other team shows up, warms up, gets ready, and then don't play anybody, right?
You know what I realized, though, gentlemen?
What?
Divi's playing today.
Yes, sir, right now.
So we should have done this podcast a little bit later on.
Well, no, because you have to leave. So does Eagle, because he's playing tonight.
It's true.
We didn't really have a whole lot of options here.
No,
Eagle
it is.
is playing at 10:30 tonight.
Well, can we do a live look-in with Stefano Berardi at some point here? Get him in there since he's at the field. Okay, before obviously we can't forecast these games now because they're going to start in 5 minutes. But Ducks, I thought, would benefit. They benefited from the schedule advantage.
Big time.
40-0 win over Sacks. I
Big
thought
time.
it's sort of that, the luck of the draw here, and they got the easier road here. And I think for the Ducks to get the 40-0 win, Matt Dumont and that team, like we've seen the Ducks play. You know, I see we've seen Jimmy.
Yep.
He's probably seen them here and there, but I like the core, but they're just too inconsistent for me here. But can they
Ducks?
now Ducks? Yeah, can they now?
And Grinders, like,
Yeah.
they beat Zone 6 Ballers, right, who are the higher seed. So
Mhm.
I don't think
Also.
it's going to be as easy a matchup for Ducks as you're claiming.
You're
it is.
surprised by that? Zone 6 ballers to lose to the Grinders.
No.
No,
Playoffs.
Grinders is a good team.
Yeah.
Well, they have the quarterback, right?
This is a quarterback-driven league.
And that's what caused Zone 6 ballers, though, at this point. Eagles, you played Zone 6 ballers, did you not?
I think I did.
Yeah, you did.
I think I did.
Do you remember the game?
They were okay. They weren't great, but they were okay.
I
I think they won.
they're
No, you
very
guys beat them.
raw.
Oh, no, I remember. That was the game. Yeah, that was not a good game for us. But, no, they're good.
It's a good team, but then again, Grinders is also a good team, pending on certain things. Like, their quarterback's playing well, but there's a lot of drops left and right. There's some miscues, but they're all around. It's a good team that could potentially find, like, if they get hot now,
Yeah.
Grinders could actually upset a few teams before they make the last seeds. They're playing. Who they're playing this week?
Grinders
They're playing
tonight.
Ducks.
Ducks, yeah.
That's a good game.
Well, that's an easy path game for them, right?
Well, Ducks is the same way, right?
Well, yeah, that's why I brought that up, is that Mo
Yeah.
was saying that it might be a smooth sail for the Ducks, but the counterpoint is that Grinders aren't a slouch team.
And remember, they did tie 25-25 on June 12th. So they did play. I remember scorekeeping that game. They did play a close one here. But in this head-to-head matchup that we have tonight, though, with the Ducks and Grinders, do you believe that Benjamin Reed can be the better quarterback than Matthew Dumont if he's going to be throwing this tonight?
I think he's a better quarterback overall.
Reed.
Yeah, I think he's a better quarterback than Mathieu Domont is, but
But
Mathieu
Domo has that experience.
Yeah, Mathieu Domont knows what he's doing. Right? Like he's calling the right plays, which Grinders don't seem to be at certain times. If you watch them play on 3rd and long, and they're calling the exact same play they did on 1st down, and they're not playing to move the chains. They're just playing to try to hit the big plays, and it doesn't necessarily work.
Other games from this past week before we talk about the Thursday games caught your attention in terms of what happened. The U, who I had as my number one team, which was ranked a little bit lower, beat the Savages, which is not a surprise. When you look at
Number one. Number
number
beat
one. That's
replacement beat number one. That's a big one for me. I had no faith in replacement whatsoever. And listen, they played really well against number one, 31-14.
But replacements. I just thought this year their quarterback play was big. Their defense was good. I'll give them the defense played tough, but it's just the offense was a little bit pragmatic.
But that's the thing, right? Their highest scoring game of the season, as I'm looking through it right now, the most they've scored was 26, and they scored 31 this week. So this was their best defensive performance of the season in their first round of the playoffs.
But can you buy them now?
I will not. They're playing ECW, which is going to come down to can they score once again,
He's
5,
gonna be
6
able to-
times?
Or start off limiting Jeremy White and that red hot offense. Like it's shutting down two top tier offenses back to back.
And ECW didn't play last week because Sam Acker's no-show at the game, so maybe a little bit off early on here. But when you look at a team such as Loyalist Finest, they beat Degenosaurus Rex by a score of 28-6. I'm not surprised by that. I think we all had Loyalist Finest being the favorite in this game here.
Broken ankles, beat Junkie.
But it's not surprising though, man.
But it's I think that broken ankles moving down to Division E2 as a higher sort of seed is the right fit. I think broken ankles in Division E1 as a lower seed would have had a very tough time against teams like DU or Glow Gang.
They would have been romped.
Yeah, but now that they moved down to E2, I mean, they beat Junkie by 8 points, right? Like, it wasn't a wash. It wasn't like they destroyed them. I think broken ankles isn't the perfect fit for them.
Yeah, so and they're playing Loyalist Finest, so this is another, like, they've moved down, but this is another great game where it's not clear cut who's going to take this one in the same way as the Rancer, not the Rancers. Who are we just talking about? I lost it.
Talking about
Also
Grinders Ducks.
Yes.
Yeah.
But see, like, when I look at this, Peace's point for this whole playoff bracket challenge, whatever, was to make more games where we can't clear cut who's going to win, right? If you look at Ducks against Avatar Sac, we kind of knew Ducks should take that one. But if you flip the script and you're looking at the closer games, I think that this is the perfect fit for broken ankles, where they're going to play. They've played a close game against Junkie. They're going to play the Loyalist Finest. Whoever they beat, if they win, whoever they play next round is going to also be another close game. The purpose of this was to make every game closer.
11 games were 10-plus point victories.
Like less blowouts across the board. I think we've achieved that in some way. I think the system isn't perfect.
How many games
yet.
we had in the playoffs for the E1, E2 Eagle? How many games was that?
No.
I'm talking about for the playoffs in total for the first round. It was
16
games, right? So 11 of them were by 10-plus points.
Yeah, that's not great.
So, and then 2 of them were obviously forfeits. So you take
That-
away those 2, so 9 out of
nine.
the 16 or
9 out of 14. That's still a lot.
it's still a lot. But I mean, the question is though, can this idea carry over for the winter season?
Well,
and
I
be
like
applied?
go ahead.
The other thing is we were talking early on in the season about like early season favorites, right? So Pension Plan are out, Guardians are out,
Los
Yeah.
Avocados.
Los Avocados are out. I think that the way this was reseeded and shuffled, we're not going to see any of the favorite teams come 2 weeks in the finals. I think it's.
But does this translate to being perhaps the finals, whether it's E1 or E2, of the likelihood of a blowout occurring now in E1, E2 playoffs because the teams aren't as strong? They had that run and they just kind of flame out when it comes to the big game in Brossard.
As someone who went on a run as the lower seed in Division 5 when Division 5 was the lowest, and then we finally got to the finals and we faced a team that was like a powerhouse. Yes, there is more potential for blowouts to happen. It all depends on the matchups at this point, right? You have to not only hope that you make it through, but the teams that give you the most grief drop off.
So there's no Iceland here that's going to be able to circumvent the powers in this conference.
Well, maybe.
Iceland lost to the Ducks.
Well, I'm talking about when they beat England in the Euro 2016.
Oh, okay, that. I was thinking Mighty Ducks.
No, well, that's 25th anniversary we talked about last week. Yes, as you saying before, Simone.
Yeah, I think there's a chance that because of the seeding, some teams that would have been blown out earlier, that the middle of the pack team get a better chance at winning a championship. Or like at teams like the Ducks, broken ankles we talked about. I think if the system favors these middle of the pack teams, there's nothing we can do about teams like Logang who already made their plans for the finals. One of the guys from Logang came up to me on the sidelines asking me, "Is there a way we could move the finals, the hour of the finals for them? Because if they make it, they won't be able to make the game."
That's not our problem.
So what I told them is start by making the finals, and then we'll see what we could do about they just want to play a different time slot, right?
It's not our problem.
So I told them start by making the finals, and then worry about when it's going to be.
Not our problem, man. Be ready for it to play either not 7:30 or whatever it is for this finals. Taking away the teams have lost now. Pension Plan, for example, 2 years now, 2 seasons now in a row.
Well, without their quarterback.
Well, Vince Pizzano wasn't there for this game. He was there for one.
Vince Pizzano was there. He played quarterback.
Yeah.
Hurt.
Right. But I'm saying he's not healthy enough, right?
No,
But
that's not something that they necessarily have control over, right?
no.
well, Adamo was supposed to play, but he couldn't make the 5 p.m. game. So if they would have had Adamo, the game would have been different. I don't think the outcome would necessarily have been different, but the game wouldn't have been a 20-point blowout.
What about Los Avocados? Again, we said it before. It's a one and done. They had a fantastic regular season. Where do we see this team now in the future of FPF?
5B, 5A, depending on who they can bring onto that squad. They're definitely seasoned enough that I could see them competing in 5A or 5B quite easily.
But can they cultivate supporting casts beyond Tom Zorko to actually be? Because look, we've said it before. Tom's a great receiver, but after that, no one scares you on that team.
So yeah, maybe it's time to go recruit some guys, some old teammates. Maybe I could see who's both a former teammate of Josh Vasquez and Tom Zerko, having someone like J.C. Collin come onto that team. He gives size. He's defensively aware. I think that he would be perfect in that scheme with Josh Vasquez as well. Yeah, when you move up, it's either you have enough faith in your guys that you're going to compete at a higher level, or you get 1 or 2 guys to help out.
Yeah, I think a team like Los Avocados, if they bring in one guy that could play both ways, if they could make it fit in a way that it doesn't take away from playing time from the other guys. If you bring in a number 2 to Tom Mazurko, or a guy that is known as a number 1 to put Tom Mazurko as number 2 on their team, it would elevate their offense and their defense tremendously, and that would push them back from playing in 5B and being a contender in 5B.
Right.
I think it's a good team. I think we need to start thinking that teams... It's not just about the playoffs and winning the championship. If you go 10-0, you should be moving up divisions.
Yeah, you know that whole adage, right? Oh, we didn't win the title. We're not going to
I agree with you, but only one team wins, right? We're not only moving up one team per season.
Well,
so
let's go to college bowl format here and become the Simon Dagenet Bowl champions.
There you go.
What about a team such as Brewers? I've watched them play.
Mm-hmm.
I thought Jeff Lefebvre was terrible as a quarterback early on. But he was terrible. They improved. He improved, though. And I said, Jeff, from where you were when I saw you back in week 1, week 2, to where you are today, it's an improvement, right? So in the case of the Brewers, who did play some teams tough, they played Vance last team very tough, and they gave them fits here and there. Perhaps we see them as being a 6, or if 5B might be out of their element, but a 6 team right here.
I think
so. It depends on how we divide 6 at this point.
Well, it's gonna be that 6D, right? But you assume there'll be a spike in Division 6 because all those 6D teams supposedly who will return and had strong years will move up to Division 6.
Well, I still think the Brewers is Division 6 bound team. No, I think they're at that point where you were Division 6D lower rank unknown team. You've learned. You've played fall, winter, spring. If they play fall, it could only help them. And then once you push that back and we move into Division and in the winter, then they could be a contender in Division 6 rather than, unknown in Division 6D.
Right.
They get one more shot at Division 6 before they might have to be moved up. I think it's a natural sort of flow that we get to FPF. I'm curious to see what they're going to do. If they're going to keep the exact same squad, if they're going to add pieces, watch guys around, they're going to bring in a new guy. It won't fit 6 anymore. We don't know, right? Like Jeff Lefebvre knows FPF well. He knows a lot of people in FPF. If he brings in a guy with an 80-80 player, they won't fit 6 anymore.
Finally, before we get to the games here, and we'll go to Step Barati very soon, one more team, and this team really caught my attention, the Zone 6 Ballers. I know we spoke about them quickly here, but I think they can be a Div 6 and a strong Div 6 team in winter 2019.
Who's that? Sorry.
Zone 6 ballers.
So the thing about Zone 6 ballers is the guys are very talented. Everyone individually are good football players. The problem is they didn't know what they were doing. They struggled to fill the consistent roster with more than 6 guys, or even 5 at times. They won a game with 5 this season.
Yeah.
If they could have 6, 7, 8 guys every week, and they could have the same guys, and maybe a little bit of coaching from somebody who knows FPF. I've seen AJ Gomes give them some coaching on the sidelines. That game they were only 5. He was there to help them out as a coach. It helps you. It helps you know what play works, what to do, and sort of skip the extra season where you don't really know what you're doing and you're trying to figure out what plays to call and sort of scrap after season because you lost games because you called the wrong plays.
Right.
Now, if you have that coach, you skip that whole process and it could boost them like a season forward. And I think Zone 6 ballers, there's a lot of talent on that team. It's just a matter of working out the kinks.
So yeah, there's something to be said as well about scrimmaging preseason, ironing out all the kinks and having the guys get more comfortable with each other before that week 1 game. If your first time meeting your teammates around you or playing together as a group is week 1, you're not starting yourself up for success.
No.
So I think that having someone more experienced, we've seen how lower division teams will pick someone up who's a known name in the league, and it completely changes their outlook and how they perform as well. I think that AJ Gomes is a phenomenal player, phenomenal two-way player in Div B, Div A right now. So you could do a lot worse at finding someone to give you input than AJ. Or even if they were to register, depending on their cap space, in 5B with AJ, that's big.
Well, that's going to take up a lot of cap space. And now you got to really
but they have that.
finagle. Yeah, no, you're right. You're right.
It's true.
You're
right.
Could work out.
It could.
All right, quarterfinals here, guys. I know we have games going on as we speak, so we'll go through these games here. Quick thoughts about the 7:30 games. We'll go a little bit more in depth with the 8, 9, and 10:30 games.
Mm-hmm.
Glow Gang, Bruins. We know Bruins, what they're all about. It's Gab Wiseman and the supporting cast here. Glow Gang, powerful, confident, a very borderline arrogant attitude at times here that they know that 9 times out of 10 they'll win a football game. If Bruins were to pull off the upset, what do they have to do to win this game?
I think Bruins have one of the only players in the division that could play against Glow Gang and not be intimidated and still may be able to make up points in Zach Zorn. So the way Gab Wiseman used Zach Zorn last week for 100 yards, 2 touchdowns, and like 7 or 8 catches, if he could do the exact same thing again against Glow Gang, because I believe he could, that's going to flip the script on Glow Gang. They're used to driving off against teams, being the more dominant, more successful football players, being the better team all around. Once they start playing against a team that takes the lead early on them and they're forced to play from behind, they might be frazzled, and then that's how you catch Glow Gang off guard.
Especially if Bruins can get a stop early on defense, like if they can stop Glow Gang's offense at least once. The second Gab Wiseman has the ball after that, he can bring the clock down to 10 seconds every play. He can slow down the pace of the game. And to Simon's point, Glow Gang will get antsy and they're going to start throwing bombs. And in the backfield with Zach Swern and Gab Wiseman both patrolling as safeties, they have the potential to come up with another stop and another stop. And then when Glow Gang are behind by that many, it's just going to unravel out of control.
Yep.
Could the overconfidence of Glow Gang cost them?
Yes.
If they look at a Bruins team?
Yeah, that was her point. Is I believe how Bruins play against how Glow Gang has been playing. If they show up being too cocky and think that we'll run the table on whoever we're playing, the slow start of Glow Gang or one mistake early could cause them to be off guard and then make a mistake. And that mistake could end up being in a game where you only get 5 possessions. If Bruins are able to score 4 on them, that early stop could put too much pressure on Glow Gang.
We're going to step Roddy very soon here, get his thoughts on the live action. Ducks, Grinders. We spoke about the Ducks and the Grinders before. We said about the quarterback play in this matchup. Is there anything else that catches your attention in this matchup that could be the difference on why Team A can beat Team B?
There's a player on Grinders, Olivier Claveau. He usually plays snapper for them. He could be a very, very good player, but he could also drop a lot of footballs. So, as good as he could be, and as talented, as fast as he is, he has times where he's just not in the game. We've seen it when they play with Browns de Boucherville. We've seen it when they play with Grinders. If he could have a good game, catch the balls that are thrown at him, able to turn up the field with him, because he's a very, very fast guy, that's something that Ducks can't really cover. If there's one thing that they don't do well is cover fast guys. If Grinders are able to key on that tonight, that could be a serious problem for Ducks.
Jim, your thoughts?
Yeah, I think defensively, a lot of it also starts with Félix Arnaud, La Flamme Desjardins. 11 sacks in the regular season. Oh, apparently we're calling Stefano.
Yeah, that's pretty loud.
Yeah, we are calling. What's your headset said, Jim?
I don't like listening to myself.
Hello?
Hi, Steph.
Steph,
Hello?
how you been?
Yes, it's us.
Oh,
Hello?
it's you.
Hi,
Steph,
Steph.
can you hear us?
No, Eagle's not very good at his job.
No, he's not. As you said before, Jim, about your point.
Yeah, so it all starts with the rush, and Matt Damon has that higher division experience, but this season he's thrown 12 INTs and he's been sacked 10 times. So if you have a rusher that can get to him quickly and fluster him and force him to make those bad throws,
Yeah.
Pierre Collard, who's been an interception monster, will be patrolling that backfield. I think that Grinders have a lot of keys to success that will start with this defense. I don't even think it lies on the shoulders of their offense, which is phenomenal. But I think that this might be a trap game for Ducks.
I love how Eagle's all stressed out right now. Look at him. He's so annoyed.
Yeah, I'm not sure what's going on. We
He's
had
like,
Steph.
Oh, man.
That's the closest we see Eagle to how I was when I had to fill in.
Yeah,
for him.
exactly.
The
Yeah.
internet is not cooperating right now.
Are
You're
we
not
still,
cooperating right now.
Are we still
are
on there?
not. We're recording, but we're not live.
Okay, fair enough. Okay, the U, Flamingos, I think this is a complete romp for the U. A mismatch. I love the U and how they've been
Bad matchup.
built. And this is a matchup that I think can really be...
That's a bad matchup for Flamingos. I don't see them coming out on top of
Respect
this
your
one.
elders, bro.
Yeah, no, I think Fighting Flamingos are going to lose by 20. I agree with you. The U is a very, very good team. They weren't my number one, but they were my number 2, I believe, or 3. The U is very difficult to play against. The Fighting Flamingos is not that team.
Jim, your thoughts? Any...
So I was just talking about the importance of a rusher in this game, and I think the opposite applies for Fighting Flamingos. Is that they don't have anyone who's going to really put a lot of pressure on the quarterback. So with guys who are more experienced, they can sometimes be a step behind to the ball, even if they see the play happening. With the Fighting Flamingos, they need to pressure. They need to pressure early, but without that rusher, it's going to be a little bit more difficult. These are guys who have won in Div 6 before. They have a lot of experience around the league, but they are absolutely outmatched in this one.
All right, when we look at Average Joe's, a team that I liked a lot and thought they came away towards the end of the year looking much more impressive, they get the A side in this quarterfinal matchup at 8:30 tonight in Brossard. I think the Joes have the horses to compete and surpass A squad.
A-side, I disagree strongly. I think A-side are pissed at us for moving them down.
Whatever, man.
I think they've
They've always been
Why?
pissed at us, though. The whole
Yeah.
team. Like,
yeah, they're
always
allowed to
been-
be. It's okay.
Whatever.
I think they're going to use that to their advantage. I think they got something to prove. And if they lose tonight, in a few hours, it's going to prove that they belong in Division E2 and they weren't strong enough to compete in E1.
The Angers champions if they win E2. Huh?
Yeah. So if you're vocal about being moved down, you'd better win it all.
Oh, yeah.
Won, they won in 5B last winter, the winter before.
A slightly
Yeah.
2
different
winters
team,
ago, yeah. A lot of guys from that core. So I think that if you feel disrespected, you really have to ball out. Otherwise, we're gonna rip you.
But in theory, right?
That's
Remember,
fair.
you know that stupid adage they always say, and when someone fails whatever a grade, it's supposed to be easier for you the following year. Like you fail grade 8,
Yeah.
and you repeat grade 8. Oh yeah, it's supposed to be easy. We can do it,
That's
no
the
problem.
thing?
Well, yeah.
There's
This is
a
what.
reason you failed the first time. Right?
Yeah, exactly. And in the case of what we have tonight with A side, it's not an easy road to go through their playoff run. It isn't. And if they think they're going to run through these teams here, I beg your pardon, man. Like I'm telling you, Average Joes may not win this game, but they'll give them a good run for their money, and this will be tougher than expected, I think. Rancers, Vultures.
It's an interesting game. Vultures have some very good, talented seasoned FPL players. Rancers across the board are the better athletes. I think this is something that Vulture usually keys on a lot to win games, is being the faster, quicker guys. It's not going to be that easy against Rancers.
Remember, this Vultures team last spring pulled off a couple of upsets in the
Yep.
playoffs.
No.
They pulled off one. They beat the Warriors.
Is that what the
I
Vultures?
remember because Owen Bajowski and Benny McMahon
Weren't
were
Vultures one and done in the winter?
No, but last spring
Oh, okay.
under this core team that's
Yeah,
together.
I remember. what
They
you
pull
mean,
off a couple upsets here. So I'm not going to discount them against Rancers. I think Rancers should win this game here. They're the better team on paper. But we spoke about a couple questions about this roster, right, which is their quarterback play and how we don't trust them enough to win with a quarterback that has had some moments of the yips and doesn't play well when it's crunch time.
It's true. I don't disagree with you. I believe that Rancers as a team is too good to fail against a teams like Vulture who keys on too few players.
Yeah, so that was exactly my point, is that I find that Vultures are very top heavy, and then there's a little bit more of a drop off. Like they have their 3 or 4 guys who produce on offense and defense, and then there's guys who are a little bit more to the side on the sidelines, whereas Rancers keep you guessing as to who's going to make that big play on offense. And on defense, they all swarm to the ball. They're physical. They play smart defense. And if you have 1 or 2 guys on your offense, like on Vulture's offense, who aren't really getting the ball or running routes, they're going to get ignored, and they're going to start cheating and double covering guys.
We look at ECW against replacements. ECW didn't play
They
on Sunday.
had the ECW.
They had literally the ECW here. Any chance replacements can make this competitive?
I thought replacement would have been the one and done washed last week against number 1. I was wrong, I guess. Listen, the thing is, if you play a team like ECW, you're going to need to put up some points because they're going to be able, even if you shut down some of their players and you're able to contain them really well, there's going to be 1 or 2 fluke plays where they're going to score on a 40 bomb or turn a 2-yard itch into a touchdown.
I don't think they have enough horsepower
So
to keep up with
Is Seal
ECW.
Levine playing?
He didn't play in his other game with all hooks, and that's going to be a big question mark, right? But the thing is, even if he isn't playing, I don't think
But that's been the MO with Seal Levine, is he misses games.
Yeah, but I don't think replacements have enough horsepower to keep up with ECW in this type of setting because you said it before, right? If it's going to be score for score, forget about it.
Replacement is not.
They have
that
no
team.
chance. But
So unless they're both that really get under Jeremy White's skin early in the game and their defense can make some plays early, they're going to have to put the pressure off their quarterback, which is not what I expect to be in a matchup against ECW.
broken ankles, Loyola's finest. This is a coin flip in my books.
It is. Who's playing quarterback for broken ankles is the first question. Is Jonathan Amir playing? Is Simon Gachal playing?
I think Simone Shaw is a better option.
I think Jonathan Amir is a better QB if Simon Gachal is playing a receiver for them.
But Mr. Lemieux's had some of his own issues in the playoffs.
Yes. But so, Simon Gachal is also not a proven quarterback in FPF, and he's a better receiver than quarterback. So you do lose him as a weapon if he goes QB.
The last game, which involves our very own Clinkers, 1 speed power
Without peas.
without peas.
Spoiler, no peas.
Eagle, your thoughts?
We have a secret strategy for this game.
It involves not having peas
I like it.
because he's not here.
Like, do you think you get swallowed up by Marc-Andre Delaunay if you're covering him?
I'm sorry, can you rephrase that, please?
Like, he'll literally cover you, like eat you live and cast off football.
Are you calling Marc-Andre Delaunay Kirby?
No. It's
Kirby
like
or Kirby?
Kirby, yeah.
He's like Gronk and you're like Spud Webb out there. Or like Muggsy Bogues.
Tracy
former-
Porter.
Yeah.
Nice.
I mean,
Like if the matchup was you against him,
he's quarterback.
I know, but let's say he's gonna.
Eagles rushing. That's the secret.
Yeah.
No spoilers.
No spoilers, indeed. I think that especially since that Marc-Andre leaned heavily on Pease and Eagle at the start of his quarterbacking career, he went to them for help and developing. I think that this is a very, very bad matchup for Clinkers, considering they know what makes Clinker. One Speed Power knows what makes Clinkers good.
Or it's a great proof game where you could show them that the student beats the master, right? Like Marc-Andre has grown enough as a quarterback to know that if they know my playbook, I can add more plays to it and catch them by surprise.
Do you believe that'll happen?
I do not.
Thank you.
I mean, I'm playing devil's advocate. It could be, but I do believe that OSP has the pre-game knowledge upper hand on Clinkers.
It's now time for the.
Call the Stefano?
We'll try calling stuff
Oh,
up, but we also
call
have week of the games as well, which will make our picks now, because semifinal is on Monday, which is a short turnover, and then of course the finals will be the following Monday.
Ah, it's not so bad.
No, it's not too bad.
While this rings, Eags, I know you were tracking the picks from.
Oh,
Stefano.
hello.
Stefano.
He can't hear us.
I mean, Eagle, one drop.
It's not me. It's the internet.
Eagle, make it work.
All right,
Because
let's do the games of the week here then.
Okay. Will you keep track of my picks like you were for the others? Awesome.
Excellent. Here we go. Do you want me, or you want?
I can read them out.
Go ahead.
So we'll do you, Simon, and then me. I'll
Yep.
read them out. Goal Gang Bruins.
Goal Gang.
Yeah.
Cool. Contrarian. I'll go Bruins.
Ducks, Grinders.
Thank you, Eagle.
Give me Ducks, man.
Yeah, I'll go with Ducks.
Ducks.
I'll go with Ducks.
The U Fighting Flamingos.
Easy to you.
The U.
To you.
All right. Average Joe's A side.
Give me Joe's.
A side.
A side.
Joe's like me. I like them. We're a unified force.
That sounds like a Mokan thing.
The damn straight it is.
Rancers, Vultures.
Rancers.
Yeah.
Give me Vultures.
Mm.
Easy W Replacements.
Easy W.
Easy to
Easy W.
Broken Ankles, Loyola's Finest.
Loyola's.
Give me broken ankles.
Loyola's finest.
Clinkers, One Speed Power.
OSP.
The power.
I think Clear's going to win this game.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. Eagle, you're going to be part of the road show. Welcome.
And
We need you.
just as a general
Actually, wait,
thing,
hold on. He's my right to broadside. No. I got one speed power winning. Yeah, Eagle. Don't worry, you're not part of the road show.
for championship, since we're not going to be able to pick semifinals, who you guys have in E1, who you guys have in E2?
What are we talking about?
For championship?
Oh, yes.
Yeah, because we're not going to be able to
I
predict the
don't know
semifinal
I
games.
don't know the rankings. I can't tell.
Pick 4 teams.
Okay, Glow Gang,
Yeah.
Okay.
the U.
Yeah.
Okay, so they're 1 and 2 seeds, so that's a good
So that means
possibility.
Rancers are
So
out then.
that's E1 finals.
Yeah.
That's E1, yeah.
And then
E2, I'll go with Average Joe's
interesting.
against One Speed Power.
Hey, so Eagle's not gonna be there. Nah. I got Glow Gang the U in E1. I think that's the best of matchups.
Actually, no, Glow Gang, the U can't. Oh, yes, they can. Never mind. Reseeding can happen.
And
yeah.
then I'm taking A side to play the Ducks in E2.
Is because I picked Bruins over Go Gang. Is Bruins the U possible?
Yes.
Bruins, the U is. Bruins, the U will happen next round if Bruins and U win.
You know, we
Yeah,
should really
so
put on the
it's
website the rankings of every team so we have an idea who's playing who, for those who are not familiar with this process.
Well, we have a graphic on the screen.
Or
which
I
not.
know, but I'm
So-
saying for the league website.
Yeah,
you
or
know.
not use a graphic ever.
Yeah.
So give me Bruins Vultures
Bruins, Vultures can happen. Yep, that can definitely happen.
and in E2
In E2,
Easy W OSP.
either W,
Oh.
OSP.
Oh,
Wait,
man,
no.
that means...
OSP is not E2. E1.
Right. Yeah. Why did I think that? Maybe I just think that you guys are that good. Well, Easy W will be there.
All right.
Yes.
Okay, we got through this podcast up peasy.
We made it.
So our next podcast will be the finals preview,
Yes.
which will be next Thursday.
Also,
And
yes.
the finals will be held
On
Monday,
Sunday.
August 6th in
Is it
Broadstar, Quebec. E1, E2 finals.
Sunday or Monday,
So
whichever.
it's a Monday, and in fact, the E1 playoffs, whoever it is the last one, will wrap up the entire spring season for the 2018
Interesting.
year. All right, that's it for us.
Yes.
And we'll find out in a few hours who will be booking their tickets to semifinal Monday at Stade de Montréal in Papineau.
Final words? Magic words?
Good night, Los Avocados,
Oh.
Grinders.
Grinders won.
Sorry, Guardians. I beg your pardon. Guardians. Orsa, good night. Brewers, good night. Zone 6 Ballers, good night.
That's not the same. if you name
XD, good
everybody.
night. Los Banditos, good night. Pension Plan, good night. Good night to all of you.